Yeah, they're out of it. Typical. I think what I'm going to do before I go home, I'm going to check out the other sedanas. I got some time. It's about 4 o'clock. And I can keep talking, which I'm good at doing. All right. I got rid of a lot of stuff I had in the living room. That's good. Taking things apart, put things away, get things in better order. So what I want to do now, when I get back home, I guess I'll be watching the Dr. Kilt's Zoom call at 5:30 that everyone's welcome to. I could have done a lot more today, but I actually spent the day trying to solve one of my problems and then helping a friend of mine with his problems playing amateur attorney. He's got a legal problem with a customer, and the attorney that he was going to get wants to charge too much money. So I gave him instructions on how to file the mechanic's lien and get paid. We'll see. He can do it. I got him through small claims court once, and he won and got a judgment, and they actually did eventually have to pay him because the person that had the judgment against wanted to get a loan and couldn't get one, and so he had to take care of the judgment, which is great. It really was great. Now, I was talking about the environmental impact of food. And if you think about it, an animal living in the wild is going to create environmental impact. Think about a deer. A deer goes out there, eats plant material, and produces liquid and solid waste, which the environment then has to process. And that's really something that a lot of people don't think about. They might go, well, it's just one of those things. Now, if you don't pay attention here, things can end very, very quickly. So, and then I worked around the house, as I mentioned before, trying to go through stuff, organize, put things away, clean up things. Then I noticed that little Milton wasn't bothering me as much as he usually was. Normally he'd be all over me, meowing and fussing. He went to my room, fell asleep. Then one of the female cats, I guess she decided that Milton was somebody that she wanted to get to know, and she was hanging out there with little Milton. See if I can get this thing to work. There we go. We'll shift the old bicycle into super slow mode, where you can barely stand up. Now, I'm so happy that little Milton is no longer super aggressive. He's actually really nice. But again, a kitty cat, which is basically a domesticated animal, wants to meet up with other cats so they can mate and produce more cats. But the amount of cats they can produce is limited by the amount of food they have. And this is a simple concept. If you want to have certain life, you have to have the conditions to support it. If you want to have plants, you need to have sunlight, which you can find all over the earth, unless you're in a cave. You need carbon dioxide, which again is all over the earth, although it's in a proportion smaller than neon. I didn't even know that until I looked it up. And I used to make neon signs. That was one of my hobbies, neon art. That's something I'd like to do while I'm still alive, maybe after I move. And another thing that you have to understand is that all plants need water. Even bacteria needs water. Everything needs water. No water, no life. This is the reason why, if you go to the Sahara Desert, you don't see any plants, animals, or anything. It's deserted. It's a desert. Now, when it comes to our normal living areas, like here in the United States, we do have deserts, although not too many of them are that extreme. But they do exist. So it is kind of important to understand the limitations. Now, a cat needs to have something to eat. Cats don't eat plants, at least that doesn't make them healthy. So they need something to hunt and eat. And that right there is an important thing to remember. The amount of population of any species is determined by its environment. And this is a fact that people tend to forget. Now, you live here in a city like, well, in a county like Dade County, where you have millions of people stuffed in this area. There is not enough food being produced here to keep these people alive. It just isn't happening. So why are the people here? Well, we're here because we bring in food from other areas. It's that simple. Now, if you want to see an extreme example of this concept, all you have to do is look at a place like Las Vegas. Las Vegas is a city built in a desert, and that desert is not habitable to most people. You have temperatures over 105 degrees. There's not much water. They get like 3 or 4 inches of water a year. There's just not that much to eat. I mean, there were some areas that had springs, and that's where they got the name Vegas or Meadow. So it was possible for some people to live there, but not the millions of people you have living there now. And you wouldn't be able to have all those big hotels and casinos and everything without the electricity that is generated somewhere else. So many of these places, they rely on other places. Hey, ducky wuckies, look at the ducks on the fence. Quack, 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 quack. Fresh stuff. Anyway, so if you look at the environment and you see how many people out there are talking about it. I mean, these are a lot of people that live in air-conditioned homes. They live in big cities, and they think they know more than anybody. So then what they say is, well, it's those cattle ranches that are destroying the environment. Okay. Do the ranches do damage to the environment? Yes. But what about the developments they live in? What about that home that they're living in with the air conditioning? All the synthetic fabrics and the drywall and the paints and all the stuff, the carpeting, the laminate floors, all the dangerous toxic chemicals that were used to produce this. I don't think any of those people are Amish. Have you ever seen how the Amish live? They gather up whatever wood they can find, get some nails. I'm not sure if I don't think they make their paint anymore, but they buy stuff, they build stuff. When the stuff is no good, they'll do something with it. They'll burn it for fuel, or maybe they'll give it to somebody else. Amish people don't have giant trash dumps. They don't have shopping malls. They wear the same style decade after decade. Nothing ever changes. They wear their clothes until the clothes wear out. And that's kind of the practical way of doing things. Now, for most people, that is not acceptable. People have to be trendy. And this is one of the reasons why the environmental movement annoys me so much, because what they've done, they've turned it into a marketing campaign. And here's how it goes. You identify a problem that they basically created, and then you come up with a solution. But a solution that involves them. It involves some of their great ideas or products or something that's going to make them rich. Is it really going to solve the problem? It might, but it usually doesn't. Because the reality is most of the problems that we have are actually unsolvable. For example, the problem of development. If we knew that every one of these homes was destroying the environment, which they are, what are the chances of getting rid of all of them? It's zero. the amount of people living in an area will not decrease unless there is some type of external force that causes it to happen. For example, a world war, a black plague, a major weather event. There are many things that could come, hit an area, and basically drive away people. But those events are very rare. And for every one person you lose to those events, there's always more that are willing to take a chance. That's one of the great things about it. It's predictable. Very predictable. Huh. Anyway, looks like they got a bunch of sheds over here. Huh. I don't know what that's all about. They must be setting up for the youth fair. That's what it is. Yeah, they're setting up booths for the youth fair. This has been going on since before I was born. Fairexpo.com events. They had voted at one time to have FIU take over part of this place, which they did, but they never took over the whole thing. They've been wanting to move this youth fair out of here so that FIU can make more money out of it, the university. But so far, youth fair is still here. It looks like it's still being relatively well maintained. March is normally when they have the youth fair, so that's something to look forward to, especially if you're a younger person. The last time I went to a youth fair, I believe, was in 1986. It's been a long time. Oh, we got more ducky wuckies. Look at all the duckies. Now, up ahead at that feeder canal, there's usually a bunch of ducks. Look at those ducks over here. Fresh duck. That looks like an anhinga or snake bird. Look at that. That's a native bird. Yeah, that looks like an anhinga. Huh. Interesting. Doesn't look like they've been spraying any pesticide here, so I can see why the birds would be coming. And I see a duck in front of me. Uh-oh, it feels like rain. That's not good. Anyway, I'll be at the other Sedanos in 10-15 minutes max. Not too bad. I'm just riding into the wind. The good thing is I'll be riding against the wind when I go home, so I'll get home twice as fast. Hey, Mrs. Duck. All right. So, a lot of people use some type of crisis as a way to make money. They love to do that. And you'll see this a lot with the environmental movement. The idea is create some type of disaster that's going to destroy the world and then market a solution for it. Again, they do this all the time. You just have to understand that and don't let yourself be taken in by it. That's it. I guess with the threat of rain, not too many people are riding bike today. Whoops. Okay. All right. Yeah, this is always fun. Okay. They got the arrows, so just gotta toot the horn. A lot of people turning left. Let's see if anyone stops when the light comes on. They won't. Oh, what do you know? Somebody did. Okay. Excellent. So, if you know that the system, the powers that be, are always going to try to profit from somebody else's suffering, wouldn't it make sense to try to educate yourself on the way things really work and then sharing that education with other people so they won't be fooled as easily? When they go around, a squeaky old trailer, there's another van like mine. Amazing they're still using them. And this is the ultimate duck and chicken hunting spot. I have not been in this spot hunting ever, but look at all these birds. Look at the delicious. You got chicken, and there's iguanas here too. Hello, Mr. Duck. Come here, Mr. Tasty. Chicken. Mr. Ducky, look at the ducky. Look, there's a lot of meat there. Oh, more chickens. You got chickens over here. Wow. I got to come here with a net. Can you imagine? That's a nice plump hen, too. Fresh chicken. Fresh chicken and ducky. Look at Mr. Ducky. Wow, we got baby ducks, too. Look at the ducklings. Nice young and tender ducklings. Chickens. Here you go, Mrs. Ducky. Here's Mr. Ducky. Man, this place is loaded with them. Oh, there's some ducklings. Look at the ducklings. Look at the ducklings. Oh, they're friendly ducklings. Hey, guys. People have been feeding them, see? They're friendly ducklings. Love the duckies. Delicious. I've already eaten. I had heart attack chicken for lunch, so... And dinner's not for another few hours. And yet I've already getting duck cravings. That's not good. Oh, wow. Anyway. So, the more you learn about the way things really work, the easier it is to avoid being fooled. Do you really want to be fooled? I don't want to be fooled. I don't want people telling me what I need to do. I want to do what needs to be done the right way. And that's it. All right, let's see here. Oh, I got somebody going in there. Well, at least this bicycle path has been here for over 40 years. People ought to know. This is the bike right-of-way. You don't see that many bikes here, though, but that's okay. We can deal with that. Those old apartments, been there for years. See, there's that van, the kiddie van, we pick up the kids. That's a newer model than mine, but it's the same basic van body and shape. It just has a different front cap. The rest of the body is exactly the same. That one's gasoline, whereas mine is diesel. At least they got the chrome bumpers, which is a nice touch. I got the cheap painted ones. Oh well. I'll find some junk van. The next traffic light after this one is the Sedanos. I'll hit the Sedanos, and then after that I'll just go home and just relax. What else can you do? Okay. Got ducks in the street. Okay. Oh, we don't want this. Okay. Good. All right. So far it hasn't rained. I guess the rain is holding out. Now, with all that in mind, when we talk about environmental problems, and they're very quick to blame what makes them the least money, which is agriculture. Agriculture is a significant source of problems. But the question is, what kind of agriculture is the worst? That's an important question. Well, let's see. Someone's for a walk. They put a car wash here where there used to be a house. Well, I guess the car wash recycles the water, but water smells like it's got bacteria in it. Smells like rotten water. El Car Wash, Westchester. That's one thing I don't do too much. The more I wash my car, the more paint falls off. There used to be a nice house here. Had a nice big yard, had a bunch of fruit trees. They tore it down about 20 years ago. Lot set empty. And a few years ago, they built this car wash here. The thing must use a lot of power. It's got its own transformer. Anyway, so there's just a lot going on. And I think at least people now are discussing things like the food pyramid because it's one of those subjects that's been sort of taken for granted. And it makes me laugh when I see these vegan focused channels like that sickening Mick the Vegan. That character always bothers me. He goes, he, I'm so smart. And who are you anyway? You're somebody with a strangely colored beard and you act weird. And you call yourself Mick the Vegan. M-I-C, the Vegan. I don't even know what that means. Is that like Michelle the Vegan? Something like that? I don't know. Bunch of nonsense. So let's see, how's this canal? This water, it's still kind of crappy. Not as bad as the other one. I see they're fixing the sidewalk here. That's a miracle. They must have had to dig it up for some utilities. Oh boy. There's Sedano's. And it looks like it's starting to rain. That's no good. So what I'm going to go ahead and do, I'm going to try to get into the Sedano's as soon as possible. And then, well, you know what? This is risky, but I'm probably going to do this. Across here. There we go. That'll save me one little trip. Perfect. It's very important, again, that we learn. Let's keep learning. Let's not take for granted what we're told. They tell us all kinds of things, some truth, some not so true. So it's a good idea to use your own mind and try to figure out what's really going on. And here I am at Sedano's. Look at that. Sedano's Supermarkets. Got the big S on the top. Sedano's. All right. There we go. I don't think they have a bicycle rack here, but we'll find a place to chain it up. All right. I see a couple of convenient spots already. Okay. Just perfect. Anyway, we'll see if they have any chicken. They might or they might not. But I'll catch you later.